Do me a favor, Aiden. Get close to the microphone and speak up. Okay?
All right.
Good afternoon. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. You a little nervous to be here?
Yeah.
Aiden, how old are you?
I'm 20 years old.
And do you work?
I do.
What do you do?
I work at a dog daycare in Shelton.
And how long have you been doing that for?
A little over a year, almost 2 years now.
And have you and I met on a prior occasion?
Yes.
And why did we meet?
For the trial.
And I want to direct your attention to May 14th of 2022. Do you recall that day?
Yes.
And why do you recall that day?
It was a traumatic day.
Now, I want to direct your attention to this States 9. You know whose house that is?
Yes, I do.
Whose house is that?
Tyler Rich.
How do you know Tyler Rich?
He's a longtime friend of mine. Grew up playing football together, high school, and then we got really close, so I've known him for a little while.
I'll show you. States 54. Do you know who this is?
Yes.
Who is that?
Faison Teal.
How do you know Faison Teal?
Same thing. Grew up middle school, football, high school.
States 56. You know who that is?
Yes.
Who is that?
Ryan Hines.
How do you know Ryan Hines?
High school football.
States 55. You know who that is?
Yes.
Who is that?
Tommy Connery.
How do you know Tommy?
Went to school with him, middle school, high school.
Finally, States 57. You know who this is?
Yes.
Who is that?
Jimmy McGrath.
How do you know Jimmy?
Met him through Rosie, who I'm friends with. He's just become a good friend of mine through
Who's Rosie?
years. Rosie's his sister, older sister.
Did you go to school with Jimmy?
No, I did not.
Do you know where Jimmy went to school?
Yes.
Where did he go?
Fairfield Prep.
Faison, Tommy, and Ryan. Did you go to school with those individuals?
Yes.
And on May 14th of 2022, how old were you back then?
I was 17.
And what were you in school?
Yes.
And where did you go to school?
Shelton High.
And you went to school with Tommy, Ryan, and Faison?
Yes.
Did you go to school with Tyler Rich?
Yes.
Did you go to school with Ricky Fiola?
Yes.
How about Sal Perry?
Yes.
How about Mike Samperi?
No.
Do you know Mike Samperi?
Yes.
How do you know him?
Met him through Tyler as well. He just come around sometimes. Good friend.
How about Alex Bernstein?
I've met him before, yes. But did I go to school with him?
Yes.
No.
When did you meet him?
I met him one time prior, and then at Tyler's, I met him.
On that night?
Yes.
How about Charlie Connery? Do you know Charlie?
Yes.
How do you know Charlie?
School, high school.
How about Jacob Villalobos?
Yes.
How about Matt Lakovich?
Yes.
How do you know them?
All high school, middle school.
Now, on May 14th of 22, did you have an occasion to go to Tyler Rich's house?
Yes.
Why?
He was having a party.
Okay, and what kind of party was it?
Just the normal thing. Listening to music, drinking, hanging out with a bunch of guy friends, some girls.
And were you drinking that night?
Yes.
And what were you drinking?
Bud Light.
How many beers did you have that night?
5 to 7.
And what time would you say you got to Tyler Rich's house that night?
Around 8 o'clock.
And did you start drinking before you got to Tyler Rich's house or when you got there?
When I got there.
And when you were there, do you know whether or not the individuals we just spoke about were present at Tyler Rich's house that night?
They were.
And when you were there with those individuals, what were you doing? Hanging out?
Hanging out, listening to music, talking, drinking.
Are you familiar with Griffin Marcinzik?
Yes.
And how are you familiar with Griffin?
High school.
And at some point in time in the night, did Ryan Hines and Griffin Marcinzik show up?
Yes.
And did you have a conversation with them when they showed up?
Briefly.
And not telling us what they said, but after that conversation, were you informed of an incident that happened on Lazy Brook Road prior to them arriving?
I was.
And shortly after having that conversation with them, did something happen where individuals showed up to Tyler Rich's house?
Yes.
Can you tell us what happened? How were you made aware of that?
There were people outside, and they came inside and told people who were in the basement that there was a group of kids in a car outside who we don't know why they were there and who they were.
And when you had got this information, did you exit the house?
Yes.
And where did you exit the house?
I exited through So there's cellar doors, and I came up them. They're on the side of the house, and proceeded to walk outside towards the driveway.
So I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 5. Can you see in State's Exhibit 5 where the cellar doors would be?
They would be right in that little space you could see in the trees, a little off to the right. Yeah, right around there.
Okay. And you came out this way?
Yes.
And when you came out this way, what did you proceed to do?
I proceeded to walk down the driveway.
Okay. And I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 49. When you walked down the driveway, how did you walk? If you could describe it in State's 49.
In between where those, like the blue truck and the white truck, it was kind of that path.
Okay. And when the individual showed up, where did you observe did they come in a car?
Yes.
What kind of car was it?
I don't recall.
Okay. And when they came, well, you don't remember what was it a four-door car? Do you remember?
It was a four-door car. Yeah.
Now, when they came, do you recall, can you tell us in this State's 49 where, if at all, the car was stopped?
On the right side of the street, just about in front of the driveway, but also near like across the street's house is like little sidewalk.
So right around this area here?
Yes.
And when you came out of the house, how many people were with you, if you can recall?
Around 10 to 15.
And do you know whether or not Tyler Rich was with you?
He was.
Do you recall anybody else who was with you at the time?
I do not.
When you came out of the house, what time of day was it?
It was nighttime. Yeah.
Was it pitch black out?
No, there was lights surrounding, so you could see, but it was dark out.
But you could notice people in front of you?
Yes.
At some point in time, did you approach the car?
Yes.
Okay. And when you approached the car, how was the car facing? So if we're looking at 49, we can agree this house here is Tyler Rich's house?
Yes.
This would be Adams Road.
Yes.
The street that I'm pointing to, that's in the lower left-hand corner of the picture, and this is Laurel Valle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Which way was the car facing? Do you recall? Was it facing towards Farmhouse, which is down here?
It was facing towards Farmhouse.
And when did you approach the car?
Yes.
What side of the car did you approach?
I approached the rear side behind the passenger. I mean, the driver.
So if this is the car here, and this is the driver's side here, you're somewhere over here, but maybe near the rear passenger side?
Yes, behind the driver.
Behind the driver?
Yep.
Okay. And when you approached that side of the vehicle, can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what happened at that point?
The window was rolled down, and I looked inside, and I saw Lito, Mackenzie, and Tyler De Silva. Those were the only ones I knew of in the car that I could recognize, and proceeded to have conversation.
Do you recall whether or not there were any other people in the car at that point?
There were others, yes.
Did you recognize any of them?
I did not.
Now, you said that you recognized Tyler De Silva?
Yes.
How do you know Tyler De Silva?
I've seen him before, just around at other parties from other high schools.
Okay. And Mackenzie, who's Mackenzie?
She is someone who went to St. Joe's, but before St. Joe's, went to middle school and with her. So
You grew up with her?
yeah, pretty much, yeah.
What's her last name?
Trafficante.
And you said Lito.
Yes,
Does Lito have a different name?
he does.
What is his name?
His real name's Raul.
And is that individual present in the courtroom today?
Yes, he is.
And can you please describe what he's wearing?
He's wearing a blue suit, black tie, white undershirt.
Can you please point him out for the record?
He's right there.
Your Honor, may the record reflect that the witness has identified the defendant in this case?
Court will allow the record to reflect that. Thank you.
Now, when you said that you had a conversation with Mackenzie, Tyler, and Lito?
It was Lito and Mackenzie that I was talking
So you were talking to where was Lito seated in the car?
to. Behind the driver's side,
And where was Mackenzie seated?
next to him on the right side of him.
And you had a conversation with the two of them?
Yes.
Did you have a particular conversation with the defendant?
Yes.
And tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what happened, what was said.
So there was just a lot of back and forth going on.
When you say back and forth, what does that mean?
Like people were yelling outside, for them to leave, but I was having a direct conversation with him, talking normally at first, but then he proceeded to threaten to smash a bottle on someone's head if they didn't back away from the car.
And after the defendant said he would smash a bottle on somebody's head if they didn't back away from the car, what if anything happened next?
After that, I just said, no, don't do that. And then I backed away. I walked back to the end of the driveway.
Did you ever, during your conversation with the defendant, ever tell the defendant or anybody else in that car to leave?
Yes,
How many times?
like 3 to 4 times.
And at some point in time during the interaction with the defendant, after you backed away, what, if anything, did you observe?
After I backed away, just more screaming and yelling from groups of people, and then the car just proceeded to take off down the street.
And when the car took off down the street, what did you observe about how the car took off?
Driving crazy.
Prior to the car leaving the area at that time, did anybody kick or shake the car? Do you recall any of
Yes,
that
there was
happening?
people putting hands on the car.
Now, was that your group of friends or the people in the car?
It was my group of friends.
And when that happened, the car took off?
Yes,
And where did it go? Did it go towards Farmhouse or towards Adams?
towards Farmhouse.
And when it went down towards Farmhouse, where were you situated in the street or in the area when you observed that?
I was at the end of the driveway.
And you looked down towards Farmhouse?
Yes,
And when you looked down towards Farmhouse, what did you observe?
I observed the car stop and people proceed to get out of the car.
Was that, did that happen more than once? Did the car drive down and back, or did it just drive down once?
They drove down and back.
Okay, so let's start there.
Okay.
So they drove down the street. Were you outside the entire time?
Yes,
Did the car come back?
yes.
When the car came back, what happened?
Just more driving crazy. They turned around and then drove back towards the farmhouse again.
So when they turned around, did they turn around somewhere in the Adams Drive area?
Yes,
And when they drove back down, did you recall people throwing things at the car at this point in
I
time?
did not recall.
When they drove back down the street, how many times would you say they drove up and down the street, if you can recall?
About 3 times.
And when they drove up and down the street 3 times, at some point in time, did they stop driving up and down the street?
Yes.
And when they stopped, where did they, if you can tell from State's Exhibit 49, where did the car stop? Did it stop, where on the,
Towards the farmhouse, there's like a light at the end of the road, kind of, and it was around that light post.
so if I point my finger around here,
Yes, that area.
the record can reflect I'm pointing to an area to the north, or the top right-hand corner where there appears to be a light pole near the corner, near the intersection of Farmhouse and Adams. All right, and Laurel Glen, excuse me.
The court will allow the record to reflect that. Thank you.
And that's where you observed the car parked?
Yes.
When the car parked down the street at that point in time, what did you do?
A group of us proceeded to walk down to the street, like to the car.
Do you know who was with you when you walked down the street?
Tyler Rich, Ricky Fiola. Other than that, I do not recall.
And when you walked down the street, how far would you say you walked down the street?
I'd say to that first light post, just about.
So somewhere
Like the end of the tree line on the left.
here.
And yeah, that area.
I may, your record will reflect, there's a light post, looks like on the right side of Laurel Glen, which is before a wood area just prior to 36 Laurel Glen. That's right, on the right side of the tree.
Court will allow the notation on the record.
So showing you States 1 behind you, can you point on States 1 where you walked up to?
Yes.
Where
Can I get up?
Use it.
Oh, just the pointer. Right around here.
It's this area here.
Yes.
The record can reflect, Your Honor, on States 1, it's the area on the right side of Laurel Glen, just before 36 Laurel Glen, there's a wooded area again where the witness is identified he walked up to.
All right, so noted.
So when you walked up to that area, did you have any weapons on you at that point?
No.
And when you walked up to that area, what if anything, did you observe at that point?
But I saw 2 people get out the car. My group of friends running up to approach them, and then just continued with more yelling back and forth, and that was it.
How long would you say you were observing what was going on from that vantage point?
3 minutes, 4 minutes.
And when you were observing what was going on down the street at that point, you indicated there's some light poles. Is there any lighting down the end of the street?
Yes.
And were you able to observe people interacting?
Yes.
When you went down the street and you observed people interacting, did you observe anybody from your group get into any physical altercation with the people from the car?
No.
Do you know whether or not Tyler Rich, Ricky Fiola, or anybody else you were with had any weapons on them.
I do not recall.
Now, after about 3 or 4 minutes, what did you do?
I proceeded to go back inside the house because Tyler was telling people to go back inside, so I listened and went back inside the house.
So you turned around and walked back to Tyler's house?
Yes.
Okay. And when you turned around and walked back to Tyler's house, how did you get back inside his house?
I kind of cut in front of these bushes, the red bushes, cut in front of them, and proceeded to go back the way I left, through back the cellar doors.
So in Stage 49, there's 2 red bushes on the right side of the Rich property. You walked in front of these?
Yes.
And did you walk up the cobblestone driveway and back in behind the black truck?
Behind the black truck.
Okay, so if the record can reflect, the path is in front of these 2 red bushes, up the side of the driver's side of the black truck, and behind the black truck towards which would be the right side of the house.
All right, the record will reflect. Thank you.
And when you went back into Tyler's house at that point in time, what did you do when you went downstairs?
I went back inside, was talking to friends normally, and then was getting ready to leave. I was talking to my friend Jeremy. He was going to bring us all home.
Who's Jeremy?
Jeremy Oko.
Okay, and Jeremy Oko drove you to Tyler Rich's house?
No.
Okay. But he was going to give you a ride home?
Yes.
Why was he going to give you a ride home?
Because he was sober, and we wanted to leave because we weren't really having fun anymore, so it was time to go home.
Okay. And at some point in time, did you end up leaving the house?
Yes.
All right. When did you end up leaving the house?
After I came outside and saw friends on the floor screaming, and I didn't know what was happening. I came out to a fight.
All right, let's back up. So at some point in time, you leave the house and you witness a fight?
I leave the house and I witness a group of people, a lot of screaming, and people on the floor, so yes.
Okay. When you were inside the house, were you made aware that individuals were on the front lawn?
No, I was not.
Okay, tell us about how you came to come outside of Tyler Rich's house and witness what you just indicated.
So I came out the same way I was going back and forth, and I couldn't see anything until I got to right in front of where that black truck is in the picture. And then that's when I heard all the yelling and the screaming and people running to cars. And at the time it looked like there was people fighting, but I would later find out that it was done already, like the fight was over, and there was just my friends stabbed on the ground.
So, just so we're clear, at that point where you came out of 43 Laurel Glen, you thought a fight was going on?
Yes.
But in reality, the fight had already ended?
Yes.
So when you walked out of 43 Laurel Glen, you came out towards the black truck here?
Yes.
Were you on the passenger side or the driver's side?
The driver's side.
And where in States 49 were you standing?
That piece of like cement or whatever right there, like right in front of the truck, that's on the grass. That's where I stopped, and that's when I saw everything.
So I'm going to show you States 4. See the cement block here?
Yes.
Okay. You were standing somewhere around here?
Yes.
Now, when you were standing there, what did you observe at that moment in time?
There's a lot of screaming, yelling, people surrounding people who were on the floor. I couldn't tell who it was at the time, but then I saw individuals run to a car, the car speed off, and then I turned back around, and that's when I realized I saw blood. I saw people crying, screaming, and saying that people had been stabbed.
All right, what did you observe about, who did you observe bleeding?
Jimmy McGrath
And
and Faison Teal.
can you tell us in this exhibit here where you observed Jimmy at the moment?
Kind of near this bush right here, the front one, the red bush, in that
This area here?
Yes, in that area.
Okay. This is in this debris area here where there's shirts on the ground?
Yes.
Okay, so to the record reflect to the left of the red bush here where there appears to be some items on the front.
Record can so reflect.
And what did you observe about Jimmy when you noticed the bleeding?
There was just a lot of people around him. I couldn't really see. I didn't get like up close to him, but I saw his face. I saw people around him trying to help. And then I just kept looking around and seeing more people on the floor, more people stabbed.
Who else did you see that was stabbed?
Tommy Connery
Okay.
and Faison Teal I saw.
What did you notice about Tommy Connery?
He was holding his leg, and then I just saw blood all over his leg.
And what about Faison Tia? What did you notice about him?
His arm was cut.
And when you noticed that your friends were stabbed at this point, what, if anything, did you do?
People were just screaming to call the police. I know multiple people were at one time, but I had someone's phone and I called the police. Tried to explain what happened as best as I could, gave them the address of the location, and then hung up. They eventually arrived with the ambulance, and they brought people who needed care away, and the cops stayed and asked if anybody wanted to write down statements.
And did you, in fact, give a statement at some point in time?
Yes, I did.
And that night at Tyler Rich's house, how many people, were there a lot of people at his house?
There was a good amount of people, yes.
But did you witness how many of those people were actually involved in the fight?
I did not.
Did you observe any of your friends in the aftermath of the fight? Did you observe any of them? Did any of them have any weapons on them at that point?
No, not that I observed.
That's all I have, Your Honor. I have no further questions.
Attorney Smith.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Mr. King.
Good afternoon.
We've never met before.
No.
If you can, just keep your voice up. It's
Yep, sorry.
hard to hear. We've got fans going. The acoustics are bad. I don't think we'll be long. You told us that you knew most of the people at the party that night, correct?
Yes.
And how many people would you say were there at the party?
30 to 40.
You told us that you'd had yourself 5 to 7 Bud Lights.
Yes.
And that was from the time that you arrived there around 8 o'clock until the time that you left there sometime around midnight?
Yes.
Do you think you stopped drinking earlier than when you left?
Yes.
What time do you think you stopped drinking?
Maybe 10, 30, 11.
So you think you had those 5 to 7 beers in the course of 2.5 to 3 hours?
Yes.
Was that pretty much the way folks were drinking that night?
Not everybody,
Okay.
but some.
Had you brought those Bud Lights yourself?
Yes.
And was there alcohol that was being provided at the party?
No.
This was a BYOB party, so to say?
Yes.
And you yourself were 17 at the time?
Yes.
Okay. How did you come into possession of that alcohol?
I do not recall.
Was there anybody that was over 21 at the party?
I do not recall.
There were some older folks that had already graduated, correct?
Yes.
Some folks that were as old as 20, perhaps?
Yes.
And did you notice other people drinking at the same rate that you were?
Yes.
Were there any drinking games being played?
No.
No beer pong going on?
Nope.
Did you notice any adults?
No.
This was a fairly regular occasion to get together at the Rich's house and party
Yes.
in this same fashion.
Yes.
You told us that you knew Griffin Marcinzik.
Yes.
Were you a part of the basketball group chat?
No.
Were you made aware that there was a basketball group chat that was going on
I
that
was made
evening?
aware.
And that there was some taunting and the sharing of the 43 Laurel Glen Drive address on that?
I was made aware of it, yes.
And you were expecting at some point that perhaps somebody might show up in response to that?
Yes.
I object based on the fact that he said he wasn't aware of the group chat. His knowledge is after the fact, so how would he know at the time?
Okay, I believe he's answering the questions, so he appeared to have knowledge. I'm going to overrule your objection.
You weren't a part of that basketball group chat, correct?
No.
But you were aware that that was going on?
I was made aware after.
Made aware after, okay. When you say after, you didn't know that Griffin Marcinzik was texting people that evening?
No, I did not.
How close a friend would you describe Griffin Marcinzik?
We're not extremely close, but I've hung out with him before. He also played football, so I've talked to him outside in school for a while, so he's a good friend.
And you learned from he and Mr. Hines that there had been some sort of altercation earlier at 5 Lazy Brook, right?
Yes.
And you're saying that you didn't know at that time that they were communicating with people that they believed had been involved in that altercation? They didn't explain to you that they were sending out the address for people to come there?
I did not know.
Do you know Tanner Chernowski?
I do.
How do you know Tanner Chernowski?
High school, middle school, I also played football with him when I was younger as well.
Okay. And you told us that you had met Alex Burnson once prior to this?
Yes.
What was the nature of that meeting that you had prior to?
The first one?
Yes.
Just hanging out with Tanner, and he brought him along. You were just driving around talking. It was just like a mutual thing.
So you knew Alex through Tanner, is that fair to say?
Yes.
And you said that people were outside, they came inside and they said, hey, this car just showed up, right?
Yes.
Did that surprise anybody there?
Kind of.
When you say kind of, did some folks seem to be aware that and expecting that?
Some did, yes.
And was there a fast rush for everybody to go outside and confront these folks?
For some, yes.
Did all 30 to 40 folks there empty out of the basement?
Not initially, no.
Eventually, did they all empty out of the basement?
Yes.
And
Just
you
about.
described that you walked down the driveway, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you walk down the driveway casually and leisurely, or was it a quick walk, or was it even a run?
It was a quick walk.
Quick walk. Were others side by side with you, shoulder to shoulder?
Yes.
How many people?
About 10 to 15.
Others behind you?
Yes, behind me, yeah.
Others in front of you, or were you leading?
I
the
was
way?
kind of in the front, yeah.
And who did you expect to find in that vehicle?
I just knew about Mackenzie. I didn't know who else she was with.
When you went out to that vehicle, were you expecting this to be anybody that you had heard about already?
Yes, once I was made aware.
And you were made aware as soon as Ryan Hines and Griffin Marcinzik showed up. Is that fair to say?
A little bit after.
Okay. But before the car arrived, correct?
Just about when they did, yes.
And you described that the car parked across the street on the other side of Laurel Glen Drive, right?
Yes.
And this 30 or 40 of you go outside and eventually you've surrounded this vehicle, correct?
Not all 30 to 40, but a group, yes.
How large would you describe that group as?
The group that surrounded the car was about 10 to 15 people.
10 to 15?
Yes.
And what were the other 15 to 25 folks doing?
Either minding their business in the background or screaming.
Okay. Fair to say you weren't really aware of exactly what they were doing?
The people behind me, no, I was not aware of what they were doing.
And at some point you described going up to the vehicle, correct?
Yes.
The rear passenger door, correct?
Yes.
And at some point that window comes down, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you
Yes.
can see inside Raul Valle, correct?
Yes.
Mackenzie Traficante
Yes.
and Tyler De Silva, correct?
Yes.
And did they display any weapons to you?
No.
And in fact, you knew Mr. Valle, correct?
Yes.
You'd seen him before and been friendly with him, correct?
Yes.
And he wasn't threatening you in any way when he rolled down the window, was he?
Not me personally.
No. And in fact, he was having a conversation with you, was he not?
He was.
And the nature of that conversation was, what's going on here, right?
Yes.
And you said, this doesn't have anything to do with you, right?
Correct.
And you say that then Mr. Valle threatened that if people didn't get away from the car, he was going to smash a bottle?
Yes.
But you didn't see him with a bottle, did you?
I did not.
Did you see him with anything in his hands?
No.
And you described Ms. Traficante as also being in the back seat.
Yes.
In fact, she was sitting on Mr. Valle's lap, correct?
Yes.
Now, when that vehicle first arrived, showing you State's Exhibit 30. Is that the vehicle that you saw that night, Mr. King?
Yes.
That's the vehicle that arrived with the St. Joe's kids in it?
Yes.
And you knew 3 of the people in that car, correct?
Yes.
When that vehicle arrived, it did not have this shattered glass on the windshield in front of the passenger side, did it?
No.
Did you ever hear any glass shatter that evening?
I did not.
Do you know a Jack Snyder?
I had heard of him, but I never met him.
Never met him yourself?
Yes.
You said you know Tyler De Silva from other parties, correct?
I've met him before one time, yeah.
And you knew Ms. Traficante from middle school, right?
Yes, grew up with her.
And how did you know Mr. Valle?
From parties at like St. Joe's people's houses.
You yourself were not at the earlier party at 5 Lazy Brook, correct?
No.
You said that after you had this conversation with Mr. Valle, where he didn't threaten you, but you claim he did threaten to smash a bottle if people didn't back away, you said you walked up the driveway, right?
I walked back to the end of the driveway, yes.
Did anybody else walk back up the driveway with you?
Not that I remember.
The rest of the people were surrounding the car at this point.
There were still people surrounding the car, yes.
Surrounding the vehicle on all sides, correct?
Just about.
If somebody was in that vehicle and they wanted to back up or drive forward, they might have hit somebody, right?
Yes.
Did you see somebody reach through the front passenger window and punch the driver? I'm sorry, through the front driver's window and punch the driver?
I did not see anything like that.
Were people blocking your view of the front driver's side?
Yes.
And again, at this point, do you think it's still 10 to 15 people surrounding the car, or had it grown larger at that point?
I think it stayed the same, if not less.
You think less, even though you're the only one that walked back up the
Well,
driveway?
I backed away, but I'm saying it could have been less. I don't know.
When you backed away and walked up the driveway, how far up the driveway did you get?
I just stayed, I walked up back to the end of the driveway.
So you crossed the street?
Yeah, basically across the street, yeah.
You're standing at the end of the driveway, near the mailbox?
Yes, a little to the left of it.
Okay. Anybody else in the driveway with you at that point?
Yes.
How many people?
10 people.
Who were they?
I don't recall.
Do you recall any of them?
No.
So you think it was 10 people, but you can't tell us who any of them were.
I can't tell you any of them more.
But you knew everybody at that party except for the kids in the St. Joe's car.
Yes.
At some point you heard more screaming and yelling, right?
Yes.
And in fact, you saw people from the Shelton High kids start to touch that vehicle, right?
Yes.
In fact, they didn't just touch the vehicle, they started rocking the vehicle, right?
Yes.
Shaking the vehicle, right?
Yes.
You could see physically the car moving, right?
Yes.
Could you hear it being pounded on?
Yes.
Could you also see anybody throw glass bottles?
I did not see anything like that.
At some point, you did see the Shelton High kids start to throw things at the vehicle, correct?
I did not see anything being thrown.
Ever?
Ever. No.
Okay. Well, you described for us that you observed the car take off and it was driving crazy, right?
Yes.
Did you see Tyler Rich at that point?
Yes.
Where was he?
Kind of in the street still. Well, walking back towards the driveway.
Walking back towards the driveway?
Yes.
Okay. And you said that the car took off driving crazy, and at the end of the driveway where you were standing, you observed the car stop, correct?
After driving back and forth.
Okay. And you observed the car stop and people got out, right?
Yes.
And that was down in front of that house close to the corner of Laurel Glen and Farmhouse Lane, correct?
Yes.
36 Laurel Glen Drive?
If that's the address. I don't know the address.
Not sure of the address. Okay. You were still standing in the driveway at that point?
Yes.
And you could see that some people got out of the car, right?
Once they had gotten out, yes. And then a group of us walked towards the car.
Okay. Who were the people that had gotten out of that vehicle?
I couldn't tell at the time because I was so far away still. But as I got closer, I could tell it was Tyler De Silva and Lido.
And Ms. Traficante as well?
Yes.
3 people got out of the vehicle?
2 people, but I only saw 2 at first, yes.
And you described that yourself, Tyler Rich, and Ricky Fiola walked down the street towards where you saw these people get out of the vehicle, correct?
Yes.
And that was towards the light post that was just past that house, correct?
Yes.
And I think you pointed out on State's Exhibit 1 there behind you, that was the wooded area just before Laurel Glen Drive, 36 Laurel Glen Drive. Is that correct?
Yes.
Did you speak with anybody as you walked down there towards that group?
My friends I was speaking to on the way down there, yes.
Did you get close enough to identify Tyler DeSilva, Raul Valle, and Mackenzie Traffic?
Yes, I could see their faces.
You could see their faces. Did you say anything to them?
Just get out of here, leave.
How close do you think you were when you said this?
10 feet, 15 feet away.
Okay, so
maybe
you got
more.
10 to 15 feet away from them?
Yes.
You named Tyler Rich, you named Ricky Fiola. You said that others were with you as well.
Yes.
How many others?
There was about 10 of us total.
So you think another 7?
Yes.
You didn't see any of them throwing anything?
No, I did not.
You didn't see Mr. Valle approach, first off, withdrawn. When you were walking down, and we can use Exhibit 1 here, if you would, point out to me which side of the street you saw Mr. Valle and Mr. DeSilva on.
They were on the right side of the street. So, like, over here, it's next to the light pole, but they were on the right side of the road.
On the side opposite from Mr. Rich's house?
Yes.
And that was Mr. DeSilva, Ms. Trafficante, and Mr. Valle were all on that side of the house? Or on the side of the street?
They were in the middle, on the side.
You think that they were in the middle on the side closer to that house there?
Yes.
On the opposite side of the street from Mr.
Yes.
Rich's house?
Yes.
And you don't recall saying anything to them other than get out of here, leave?
Yeah.
Did you see any weapons in any of their hands?
No, I did not.
Did they utter any threats towards your group?
Not that I heard.
Did you see any of your group interact with those people?
Just more talking, but nothing physical.
Did you see Mr. Valle come out of the bushes and approach Mr. Rich?
I did not.
Did you see anybody come out of the bushes and approach Mr. Rich?
No, I was inside.
You were inside at what point?
After, in the middle of them all talking, Tyler said, "Get back to the house." So I proceeded to leave and go back to the house, and that's when I was inside talking. I didn't know what was happening outside after that.
Were you walking with Mr. Rich?
No, I was not. I was in front of him. I was one of the first to get back to the house.
And were you walking with anybody else?
I was walking with 3 people.
Who were they?
I don't recall.
When you got back to the house, you went back into the basement?
Yes.
Through those same Bilco doors?
Yeah.
And you were in there, you said, maybe for 3 or 4 minutes. Is that fair to say?
No longer. A little bit longer than that.
Were you doing any more drinking while you were inside the house?
No.
Who else was with you inside the house?
It was a group of people. There was more than I can identify.
Can you recall anybody that was with you?
Jeremy Oko.
And how do you know Jeremy Oko?
Longtime friend, middle school, high school, football.
Also went to Shelton High?
Yes.
He didn't give you a ride there that night, but he was
No.
going to give you the ride home.
Yes.
At some point, you left the house and you came outside, right?
Yes.
And you went into the front yard, right?
Yes.
And you said you saw your friends on the floor. You thought they were fighting.
Yes.
How many people did you see in the yard at that point?
20 or more.
Did you see Mr. Valle?
I did not. I saw people run away. I couldn't identify a face.
You say you saw people run away.
Like towards the car that they came from.
So you could still see the car at that point?
Yes.
And at that point, you were by the black truck that we saw in the
Yes.
exhibit that you described? And at no point in that evening did you see a knife, correct?
No, I did not.
Not when you were at the vehicle?
No.
Not when you were down at Farmhouse Lane,
No.
not when you came out into the yard later, correct?
Correct.
You also did not see anybody throwing anything at the vehicle, is that correct?
Correct.
Now, initially, you told the cops that there was no drinking going on at the party, correct?
Yes.
And you did that because you didn't want to get in trouble, right?
Yes.
You didn't want your friends to get in trouble, right?
Yes.
And in fact, when did you first learn that there was a video of all of this?
I really can't recall when I was made aware.
But you did tell the cops about that almost a week later, right?
Yes.
And you told them that Tyler Rich and Tanner Chernowski had videos, right?
Yes. I was told. This is what I was telling you what I was told. I knew about the video from Tanner.
You knew that Tanner had a video.
Yes, I was made aware after.
Are you friends, or can you see his Snapchat stories
Right now, yes.
at the time?
At the time, could I? Yes.
And did you see that he had in fact posted one of those videos that very evening?
I did not. I was not on my phone.
Have you since seen a video that he posted that evening?
That was posted. Have I seen the video? Yes, I've seen the video.
You weren't outside, however, when that video was taken.
No, I was not outside.
Did you see Enrique or Ricky Fiola that evening taking a video?
I did not.
Did you see him with his phone out and a light on from that phone?
At some point, yes, there was lights on, but a lot of people had lights on their phones.
How many people did you see with their phones out and the lights on?
Throughout the night, 10 people.
And after this, you told us that folks started talking with one another about what they had seen, correct? Mm-hmm. And some folks were telling you that they had seen the fight, but you yourself had not seen the fight. Is that fair?
Yes.
In your initial statement that you gave on May 15th, you said all that you saw was people fighting and kids getting thrown around, right?
Yes.
About 9 days later, on the 24th, you came in and you gave more information than that initial statement, right?
Yes.
That was after you'd come to learn that there was a video that captured this, correct?
Yes.
And just to be certain about this, you didn't see any of the fight that occurred in the front yard
No, I did not see any of it.
because you were in the basement.
I was in the basement.
Nothing further. Thank you.
All right, so
One quick question.
if sure, if your redirect is going to be very quick, we'll do that.
With regards to the video, did you ever see that video on Snapchat, or did you see it
I just saw it like sent to me.
sent to you like in a text message?
Snapchat, but like not on like a story.
And it wasn't was it sent to you that night or
No, at a later time.
at a later time?
Yes.
No further questions.
Anything further?
Did you tell the cops that you'd had that video sent to you?
Not that I recall.
Nothing further.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Ah. So you're all done. Yeah. Thank you.